afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege and honor to be here today as a part of the CFO conclave of RAI. And particularly so when I look at the august audience over here and the galaxy of eminent panelists over here, I'm fully conscious of the fact that we are standing between you and the weekend to start. And despite after lunch, after tea breaks, you are still around over here to hear us. I feel extremely elated. And why should that not be the case? Because today is really retail's day under the sun, so to say. With almost $850 billion of top line, with 15% contribution to the country's GDP, an industry that is growing at the range of almost 11 to 12% on a CAGR basis per annum, retail has indeed come a long, long way from where it was. And if there are one or two industries across the country which has probably undergone a complete metamorphosis over the last 10, 12, 20 years, I think telecom and retail truly stand out. Now, as I was walking in just after lunchtime today, and didn't have any place to sit, I was standing near the walls, I was very animatedly watching a bunch of colleagues and audience over here actively on their Twitters. Now that struck a chord in my mind. 20 years back, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, the social media was virtually unknown. All we had was the newspapers. And today, here we stand in a sunrise industry, in a CFO conclave, and whatever discussions are happening over here are not only restricted to what we hear and internalize, but social media probably already gets to know all that is happening over here. And that is truly the spirit of retail industry in India. Today, we have a panel with us, and we're going to talk about innovations and loss preventions. Because while it is true that retail has come a long, long way indeed, but there are still challenges, significant challenges. Margins are wafer thin, and very often the margins are impacted by the losses that happen in the entire end-to-end value chain. As PwC, when we do our consulting engagement with many of our clients, very often the CFOs ask us one or two very direct questions. They come and say that we know that we are making losses, but help us to identify, and we also probably know intuitively where the losses are. But how do I predict losses? How do I measure losses? How do I prevent losses? Today's panel discussion is going to focus on innovations in technology, in data, in processes, in controls, in insights, and how the industry leaders from the finance function in this industry are trying to grapple with the syndrome of losses in retail industry in India. I would like to request Madhavan to start with. Probably you have the largest experience in terms of a wide range of commodities as a part of Reliance Retail. Given your experience, what are the perspectives that you have brought to the table in terms of where retail losses happen in the value chain, and your experience in some of the quick wins in terms of preventing and, more importantly, predicting losses?